my channel covers life as an international student in the US, basically as an F1 visa holder or as a H1B visa holder in the US. So maybe you came as an F1 student and then you engaged in the H1B lottery. So my channel covers all of that. If you see me looking down right here, I'm looking at my computer just to make sure that I get every details and make sure that I give you guys all the tips that I wrote down. So today I'm going to talk about how to create generational wealth in the US. And when I say generational wealth, I don't mean just like how to make $20 extra per month or something like that. No, I'm actually talking about like generational wealth that you can pass on to your children and to your grandchildren. And again, like I said, this is not like a get rich quick kind of thing. No. Also, I'm going to say I am not a financial advisor. No, these are just basically tips that have worked for me, things that I've started doing, and I'm kind of like seeing some results, and I feel that I should, let people that are in the same shoe or similar shoe that I am know about. Also, this advice is mostly for people that are working. So if you have like, maybe if you're working on your campus, if you're an F1 and you're working on your campus 20 hours a week, or if you're doing an internship, or if you're working on like your initial OPT, or if you're working on your STEM OPT, whichever one, as long as you're like working and you have some means of income, you have a way that money comes in like every month, then this is for you. So basically, what is this that I'm talking about? I am talking about investing. And before you click out, I'm not talking about just like buying Amazon stocks on Robinhood or just buying 2 Tesla stocks or something. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about index funds. So index funds are basically, like a collection of stock that are being tracked. So for instance, there is the S&P 500 index fund, which tracks the top 500 companies in the US. So now, instead of you just going and buying one Amazon stock or one Tesla stock or one Facebook stock, you buy an S&P 500, and this S&P 500 tracks is a collection of stocks that has the whole 500 companies, the top 500 companies in the US. So if you're buying an S&P 500, the Amazon stock you're gonna buy is there, the Facebook stock you're gonna buy is there, the Tesla stock you're gonna buy is there. This is what index funds is. So now, as an international student, you are actually legally permitted to trade index funds, to basically buy or invest in index funds. International students, you're not really taught about finance in the US. You're not really taught about 401k. You don't even know what HSA is. So you have to learn all of these things by yourself, and I did learn all of these things by myself. So how do you start trading index funds? Well, first you have to go and open an account in a brokerage account. But before you do that, there are steps you have to take to make sure that you're in a good place before you can start investing. And the first step is to have an emergency fund. Now, what is an emergency fund? This is your living funds for 3 to 6 months, right? So maybe if you spend $2,000 a month, say $1,000 on rent and $1,000 on other things, you have to have an emergency fund of maybe for 3 months. It's gonna be $6,000. So that emergency fund, you never spend it, like you never touch it, right? This is gonna be in your high yield savings account, right? It's not going to be in your checking account. No. So you have to have an emergency fund for at least maybe 3 to 6 months. Me personally, I would say if you can go to a year, you can have an emergency fund of up to a year at least before you start investing as an international student, just because a lot of international students don't really have like a back cushion or people to lean on in the States. You are the person that is taking care of yourself. You are the person that is gonna lean on yourself when there is an emergency. So yes, I would say have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months, save up and put it in a high yield savings account, and make sure that you don't touch that fund. You only touch that fund during emergencies. And what's gonna count as an emergency? Say, God forbid, you lose your job, something like that, right? That is an emergency. Next thing you do is make sure that you have no debts, or you have minimal debts. Now, when I talk about debts, I mean like things like credit card, student loans. I mean, you can have student loan debt and still invest, but credit card debt is a no-no. Student loan debts are usually about 6%. Credit card debts are the APR is between like 15 to 25%, or I believe 15 to 20% thereabout. So you should make sure you don't have any credit card debt at all. Like, no, because there's no way you can be investing while your credit card is eating your money. Every month that you don't pay off everything, that is more money being taken out from your account by the credit card companies. You know, research has actually shown that credit card companies make more money from interest rate. So yes, that is the second thing you do. So the first thing is have an emergency account. The next one is pay off your debts. The next thing, of course, is to have a source of income, which is going to be, you know, your job for your OPT, or like your job for your CPT if you're still doing your internship, or if you're still in school and you're working 20 hours a week. Even if it's, now I'm not saying go and invest like $500 a month. As a student, I know that is hard, and as an international student, that is even harder. But you can start with $20 a month. That is okay. That is perfectly fine. The only thing you have to do is to make sure you're consistent. Again, remember when I started this video, I said this is not a get rich quick scheme. No, this is basically something you have to do consistently for at least a decade or maybe 15 years to actually, you know, see results, to become like a lot of people when they do this in like 15 to 20 years, they become a millionaire, right? So something like that, right? So you have to make sure you're consistently investing. So this is basically going to be maybe like $50 every week, or bi-weekly, or every month. Now, when we talk about consistently investing, where are you going to be investing this? You have to go and open a brokerage account. And there are 3 brokerages that I would recommend. There's Fidelity, there's Vanguard, and there's Charles Schwab. So you have to go and check whichever one works for you best. Personally, I use Fidelity because I like it. And after you open a brokerage account, you have to actually invest the money. I'm not saying open a brokerage and you just leave the money there. No, don't go and open an account on Fidelity. I made that mistake for like a month. I opened Fidelity, I put in 1K there, and I did not buy any index fund. No, don't do that. So basically, when you open your account, you go and you buy an index fund. So there are many indexes or indices, whichever one it is. There is the S&P 500, there's the total stock market, there's the NASDAQ, there is the emerging, I think it's emerging markets or emerging funds, something like that. So you can invest in all of this, or you can invest in one of these. Some people just do the S&P 500 totally. Me, I like to diversify my portfolio. I love a portfolio that is very diversified. So I have about 6 different indexes. And this is how you can start building wealth. So there are other things that go into this. There's like, you know, dividend funds, dividend stocks, and all of those, but I am going to go into those in another video. So make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and watch out for my next video. And yes, if I didn't mention this in the beginning, this is perfectly legal for international students in the US. And please don't forget to subscribe and share, and I will see you guys in another video.